Hello.
Howdy, everybody.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I feel like it's been forever since I've seen you.
It honestly does feel like so much time has passed since our last episode. I literally, yesterday, the day before, was I on last week? I was like, oh, wow, that was wow. Feels like so much time has passed, and yet no time at all.
Yeah. And the days seem to be passing either really, really super fast or really slow.
I think someone's onto something with their thought that the Hadron Collider has been doing stuff to our time continuum and whatnot.
I would agree with that. So yeah. Well, before the whole episode goes by without us introducing ourselves, hello everybody. I am Michelle with Moksha Grace Coaching, and I am a emotional liberation coach, meaning that I help you learn how to manage your emotions so that your emotions don't manage you like a bunch of little gremlins and take over your life when you add water. Ha 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 ha. Reference the movie.
Nice. Oh, is that? Oh, okay. I didn't
Oh.
realize. Oh, okay, gotcha. And and I'm Krista Barone of Wicked Wisdom Consulting. I help you. No, I help your systems work for you instead of you working for your systems. I was trying to match your
Yeah.
tempo. I do operations consulting and a fractional COO where applicable. And I'm excited for this topic today.
I am too, because I think that there's a lot of people that probably took it one way,
Mm-hmm.
and you can take it a couple different ways, but we're not talking Twilight. Uh,
No sparkling vampires here.
oh, so unfortunate. But anyway, so basically, we're talking about when you feel that you
Hold
are.
on. Are you defining what an energy vampire is first? Just in
Yeah.
general, what we typically think of? Okay, go ahead.
Uh, basically, it's when you're in a room with a person or people
Or just
and
interacting with them. It could
or
be over the
interacting.
phone. It could be
Yeah,
it could be in any of those things.
absolutely. And you feel afterwards like you have been hit by a Mack truck. You have no energy. And it's just been like they suck the life out of you. It could be because they're depressed. It could be that they're just high energy and doesn't necessarily match yours. It could be that they're very negative.
A lot of energy vampires they're not doing anything intentional.
No, absolutely not.
I think that it doesn't necessarily even matter
Right.
the other piece. It's just someone that sucks the life out of you. And most of the time, there are some people who use it, and it's a thing that they do. But most of the time, 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, people don't realize that they do it.
Right. And it actually, in certain situations, when there's, uh, and this is getting way off topic, but there are energy vampires that actually help people, like as somebody's doing healing on you, like Reiki or something like that. There are people that can do energetic work and help you kind of discharge that energy that you don't want hanging on you so that you can actually be free to work through whatever you want to work through. That's not what we're talking about
No,
today.
we're talking about like the typical just, you know, in passing, oh, that person's an energy vampire.
Right. So do you want to give a example of a time when you were affected by an energy vampire or had
I
an
mean,
interaction?
I hate to throw her into this, but your mom could be an energy vampire at times.
Yeah.
Um, Even just a conversation, it can be exhausting. But I also want to point out that it doesn't even necessarily have to be people you know. Like I've hung up on customer service conversations where I hang up and I'm like, I need to take a nap now. That person just sucked the life out of me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't doesn't even necessarily have to be a long conversation either. It could be a very quick interaction. But the key thing is that energy drain or like brain fog, things like that. But I also want to point out, technically, that's not really what we're talking about today. Now that you know what an energy vampire is, we're not saying that you're an energy vampire in this sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
We're hitting this from a different angle.
Go ahead. It's
Okay.
good.
So what we can do very easily is, especially for the people that we love and that we know, friends, family, coworkers,
Mm-hmm.
is that we can take on their pain and their troubles
Mm-hmm.
and their struggles and their worry and their this and their that. It doesn't take anything away from them, but we just decide to take it on ourselves as well.
Yes.
And you have a great analogy that you use all the time. Please enlighten us.
So basically, there is a difference when, when someone calls you up or a friend or what, and they're sharing their woes with you, their concerns, their anger, their venting. It's one thing to empathetically sit next to them and listen and be there for them and sometimes advise them if they ask you to, but it's another to what I say, jump into the quicksand with them. And you can't help anybody if you're in the quicksand with them.
Mm-hmm.
If you stand on the outside of the quicksand, on the edge of it, you can take a stick and you can say, latch on and let me pull you to the side, and you can help them and guide them out from being underneath this large, whatever it is, emotional situation. But you can't dive into the emotional situation with them. So a lot of times what happens, and back in the day, they used to call it the bitch and stitch club. Maybe you've heard of it. It can be a bitch session where a bunch of people get together and it's just, let's go off and let's just complain about everything in the world. And it's this negative energy that starts swirling. And the faster and faster and faster it goes, you're going to walk out of there either one, charged with a bunch of negative energy that you're then going to spew on everyone else, and when you go home or wherever you may be, you're going to continue. It's like contagion, it just spreads. Or you're going to take it in on yourself, and it's going to start eating away at you and causing dis-ease, because negative energy does that. It causes us to have physical symptoms. And so that's why we want to talk about not just looking out for energy vampires that might be out there, but also how not to be one. Not that you mean to be, and you might be doing it out of love, but it's not good for you, and it's not good for the other person either if it's not an agreed upon exchange. You want to say anything else to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it never needs to be an exchange at all. You can't take on anyone's, and you really, you shouldn't take on anyone's stuff. I mean, even, there's different schools of thought on it. But like in the Reiki world, because I'm a Reiki master, and one of the things that they teach us is, do not under any circumstances take on other people's energy. It's not your job to. It is not your responsibility to. They need to do that. They need to learn how to do that. And so in something like Reiki, we're just the facilitator of energy. We're calling in universal energy, Reiki energy, sending it through the other person's body, and then it's that person's responsibility to let it go. And actually, the not really a mantra. I don't remember the name for it, but the phrase that we're supposed to say, it is something that we decide. But typically, it's along the lines of like, may this person heal what they're ready to. May this person heal what they're supposed to, what they're divinely, inspired to. So it's very much putting the responsibility in the other person's hand, because ultimately it is their responsibility. Because
Yeah.
what happens if we take on that energy from them and they're without it for a little bit. It's the same thing as someone that goes on a diet to cut out all bread and they lose a bunch of weight, and the minute they start eating normally again, they gain it all back because you haven't
Right.
learned anything, you haven't really changed anything. And so I think it's important to note that, I mean, unless that is your spiritual specialty and it's
Hmm.
used as a tool and you know how to control it, um, and you're doing it very intentionally, I don't think that there's really any time that you should be taking on someone else's energy.
Absolutely. You can help people by either sitting, listening to them, right? I do a lot of customer service, client success, and work with coaching. And so what that means is that I can listen, but I'm not going to dive in the deep end with them. I'm going to be that voice that's going to guide them over to the positive.
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking to a client the other day, very negative, but they would also have a lot of positive. And so what I did was every time we would start talking about positive and energy would go up, and then that person would throw in a negative, and it was like throwing a big old boulder, into the water, and it was like kerplunk. And it was, so then I would just bring them back to the positive, and then kind of point that out, like, isn't this nice? Like, how does that feel? To talk about your wins, and remind them, because we get so enthralled with the negative,
Mm-hmm.
and again, it's like this swirling vortex. And if you don't find a way to disrupt the pattern of it or the cycle of it, uh, you just get wrapped up in it,
Yeah.
and it's never ending.
Yeah. And I think it's really easy, especially, I think it's a habit, honestly, a habit that we
Hmm.
learn and pick up, um, particularly when we're kids and into teenagedom and
Hmm.
adulthood, because some of this is a survival mechanism in a certain to a certain extent, where especially if you've grown up in a household or around just friends, that the energy can be tumultuous. You typically tend to be someone who does kind of shift your energy to match everybody else's to fit in to survive, and so a lot of times it's something that people have to learn how to stop doing.
Hmm.
Well, first realize that you are doing it, and then learn to stop doing. And we've kind of talked a little bit about this before, not necessarily in this context, um, but it's something that I did for a very long time, where I would take on and be hyper aware of everybody else's emotions around me, um, and not even necessarily to, yes, they become my own emotions, but even just being super hyper aware of everybody else's emotions, I think would also fall into this category, because then you start changing how you're behaving, how you're talking, how you're
Hmm.
acting, um, overly in consideration of where the other person is, to the point where you're now not behaving naturally because you're taking that into consideration. Um, and that is absolutely something you have to unlearn.
Yeah. If it's not your bad day, like if you're having a good day and someone else isn't, you don't have to take on their bad day. You don't have to make it a bad day for you too. You can hear them, listen, you know, try to work with them about it. But then once you either hang up the phone or walk away, like literally shake it
Mhm.
off, like you're done, like you don't have to absorb their energy, and
Yeah.
you just have to remember. And one of the techniques is just, and repeating to yourself, like, this is not mine, this is
Mhm.
not mine, because what happens is you're taking away their opportunity to learn how to self-regulate their
Yeah.
emotions on their own.
Mhm.
And it actually is a disservice to them. You're not doing them any favors. It's a
Mhm.
disservice. And so, that's huge.
You're also taking away your own ability to learn to self-regulate, and that's one of the things that I taught myself how to do. Was I used to be very affected by everybody around me, and as soon as there would be some sort of emotional upheaval of some sort, I would feel like I needed to flee. I need to get out of the situation, or I need to get my point across back, or I need to come in defense of somebody, or just whatever the situation is. And I literally, I've talked about this before on the show. I literally would force myself to sit in uncomfortable situations. I was perfectly safe. Let me just, I'm not talking about being in a dangerous situation,
Right.
but sit in a situation, even if it was just listening to somebody else having a conversation that would get me like frustrated, force myself to sit in that situation to build the tolerance to where it doesn't bother me anymore. And the same thing can be said for more specifically a energy vampire situation where it's sitting with that person and literally visualizing not taking in their energy. It's literally sitting in that moment, being there with them, and maintaining your own energy. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, it literally happened the other day. I was having a great day, and this is very common if you live at least with one other person. You're having a great day, and then the other person gets home, or you both get home, whatever, and they've had a horrific day. And a
Yeah.
lot of times we let that pull us down, and now us looking back, our day was horrible because we took that on from the other person. We took nothing from them. They
Mm-hmm.
still felt the way they felt, but we took
Right.
in some of it. We became like Mystique from X-Men. We
Yeah.
changed ourselves to match how they are.
Right.
um, and it takes, and you literally have to practice not doing it, of being in that presence with them, feeling the energy of how they are, the mood that they're in, the energy they're giving off, and just sitting with that, not taking it in, feeling the difference in the two energies, and just letting that be what it is.
Mm-hmm. One of the, and you can talk about how you protect yourself, but I think that it's a really good routine that, especially if you talk, whether you talk to people on the phone or whatever it is that you do for a living, if you're talking to other people and you're in situations where there is that exchange of energy.
Not just talking to other people, but if you work with others, if you
Yes.
are a healthcare provider, if you're a
Mhm.
masseuse, if you are a chiropractor, if you are a dentist, if you are,
A
um,
human being,
I
basically.
mean, anytime that you work with anybody, it doesn't even have to
Anybody.
be talking. I mean, just in the,
Yeah.
but even more so when you're hands on with other
Yeah.
people. That's what I love.
Well, very true, very true. But
Right.
and it can also come through an email. I mean, seriously, or a
Oh,
text
yeah.
message. And so one of the things that, I'll do, one, I meditate in the morning to get me at my highest level. Because if I'm up here, and I've said this 1,000 times, if I'm up here and somebody does something or something happens and I knock down to here, okay, I don't have as far up to go. But if I'm way down here,
Hmm.
I have a long way to go.
Yeah.
So I always meditate in the morning, get myself where I want to be, and then you can just literally imagine yourself like in your own bubble, your own space, like your energy surrounds you and it is just giving you life, and all of your emotions and feelings are all encapsulated in your bubble. And two bubbles can exist at the same time, but it's when they connect and they become one, that's when you're sharing that energy. And if that's not what you plan to do, then you've got to build a stronger bubble for yourself.
Yeah.
And it takes practice. It takes practice. I imagine just a golden light, and my energy is my own.
Yeah.
And what do you do? How do you
So
protect yourself?
it's so funny because that is such a classic, simple, easy, almost like it can seem like a too easy to be true
Hmm.
technique. And it's really not. I mean, it's literally perfection. It does its job. For some reason, I can never remember to do that, even though it literally takes 2 seconds to do. So you guys know I'm a big crystal girly. As it is, I'm twirling around some crystals in my hand right now. Um, so what I'll do is, whether it's a crystal or whether it's a cross, whatever necklace that I'm wearing, when I put it on, I will say a few affirmations of that usually include some sort of protection, something.
Mhm.
And that to me is setting my shield, my energetic shield for the day. Um, I found it to be very effective for me.
Mhm.
Not going to be effective for everybody. But I'll also sneak in some other not like just general affirmations as well because it just forces me to say it. So I have a little routine that I do every
Mhm.
time I take it on and off, and for me that works.
Yeah. And I think that that's so important to remember is that everyone has to find what works for them. And
Yeah.
it could be surrounding yourself with crystals as I look around my office. It could be, shaking it off after it happens. But to be proactive is obviously the better choice. But when you can't, excuse me, when you can't, one of the other things you can do is when you notice it, you can shut the shields like, oh, there's a crack in my shields. Like imagine like, your Star Trek, stars, whatever, Star Wars, there's been a change in the force field. And just imagine that you're shutting it down, like you're putting
Yeah.
up the shields. And then the other thing, and I do this too, is I'll send it back with love. Like, ooh, I took this
You beat me
on,
to it. Mm-hmm.
and just be
And
like,
yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
sending this back with love and light and just literally like return to sender.
I was gonna say I literally say return to sender with love. It's
Yeah.
quick, easy. Return to sender with love. And if you're someone that works from home,
Hmm.
energy doesn't care about distance, guys. So you can work from home and be on Zoom calls, be on Google Meet calls, whatever it is. And so something you can do really simply is if you're on a call and you sense that the energy is shifting, you can do it before, after. You can be doing it the moment that something's going on. It's never too late to put up like an energy field for yourself. Um, I've heard someone describe it before where you literally envision like a piece of plexiglass between you and your computer. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And it's so funny to me because this all sounds, of course, so woo woo and so out there, and so again, just like so simple, it can't possibly work,
Yeah.
but it does. And at the end of the day, whether you want to believe in it or think that it's a placebo effect, that's up to you. But you can't fight with the fact that it works.
Yeah. And I mean, yes, regardless of what you believe in, but there is energy all around us.
Mm-hmm.
And one other thing before we move on to anything else. Also, when you feel like it's happened and you've absorbed that energy, uh, if you don't want to do the return to sender, you do, but there's like residual, uh, go outside. Like even better, take your shoes off, go outside and like imagine like you're discharging the energy into the ground. It doesn't hurt the planet, doesn't hurt Mother Earth. Uh,
Yeah.
she's got
Mother
it.
Earth knows what to do with it.
She knows what to do with it. And you just literally just imagine just it coming through your hands, through your fingers, and just right into the
Or
earth.
your feet.
Yeah, and your feet. And discharge it. Like
Yeah.
just let it go. Imagine it going into the ground.
Yeah, that's a big one. You can do the same thing with water. We talked about this the last. I mean, when we were talking about the elements,
When you're washing your
wash
hands.
it off with
Mhm.
wash your hands, wash it off in the shower. You just don't want to. Typically, you don't want to do it in any stagnant water. So, like, you
Right.
wouldn't really want to do that in a pool or a bath. You really want it to be running. You want there to be a flow so it can wash it away.
So, like, if you're in healthcare, let's say, and you were in the room and the patient or the family was just really negative, just really heavy energy because let's face it, that happens a lot. They're in a bad place. You have to wash your hands when you're done. Imagine you're washing and rinsing and just letting it flow right down that sink
Hmm.
and just let it flow through there.
Yeah.
And you can be that type of energetic being that, we can absorb, but we can also push energy out. And what's cool about that is you can lower your energy, meaning how like dim dim it just a little bit. So like, like if you're walking into a room and somebody's upset and depressed, you're not going to be like, hi, walking like that. So you can lower, but you're not lowering your energy, you're just pulling it back a
You're
little.
pulling your. I feel like it's like pulling your physical energy back, but not your
Yes.
ener- not your energetic energy, not your spiritual energy,
Well, you're pulling the
your
spiritual
vibe.
energy back, but your vibe doesn't have to be as high. You can go in and be calmer, but still be in good energy and let that actually flow out of you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like you're sending love from your heart to their heart. And by the way you're talking, by the way you're acting, by the things that you're doing, they can feel that and you can actually impact the energy around you.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And when you can learn how to do that, you can impact people you talk with on the phone
Yeah.
just by how you say something, what you say, because it's your energy that you're bringing to the call.
Mm-hmm.
People know when it's fake energy.
Yeah. And on the flip side, which I feel like we do this all the time, but on the flip side, it doesn't have to be negative energy either. How many times have, I'll ask you this, Michelle, how many times have you been around someone that is so peppy? Well, this might be hard for you because you are this person sometimes. So for everyone
I am
listening,
this person.
shifting the question to all of you out there. How many times have you been around someone that is so peppy, so happy, so excited that it gives you a headache or it drains you or you feel exhausted? It happens to me all the time.
I wonder why.
Not necessarily from you. There's just a lot of really
Yeah.
peppy people in the world, and that's amazing. And I love that for you. Not really my vibe. So it can really drain me. But really, that, and whether it's super high positive energy or lower energy, what all of this is telling you is simply that you guys are not at an energetic match a lot of times. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not a problem. It's not like you have to avoid these people, but it's recognizing that and then doing what you need to do to protect your own energy. So when I'm around a super high vibe person, I know actually, you know what? I guess I do. I don't visualize it, but I just kind of instinctually put up a little bit of a shield for myself because I know
Mhm.
that that can equally exhaust me. And again, it doesn't have to be before. It can literally be the minute that you notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Remember when I worked at the hospital, I used to have to train the volunteers, the younger volunteers, well, all the volunteers. And there was this one video that I would show.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember that video? I
No.
actually looked it up the other day, and it's still on YouTube. Uh, it's about understanding that you never know where someone else is at.
Yeah.
So if you get in an elevator and the person in the elevator is just so heavy, like as far as like that energy, and you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
that's like, I'll take the next elevator. Like you almost want to just say, never mind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
And so even if you just, you know, say hi or smile or just nod and acknowledge them, um, that can change their day. Or just while you're standing there and, shielding yourself, you can be sending out vibes to them, whatever you're going through. Just, I'm hoping that all's, well. I hope all's okay, and you're just calm and relaxed, and I talk about how I test myself with the dragonflies outside. It's kind of the same thing. If you're in a room and you realize that everyone is staying far away from you, you might want to check your energy, and vice versa. If you see someone else and you see everyone kind of staying away from them, their energy must be really off. And you can decide if you want to send some vibes out and just kind of calm the situation, if it's appropriate. Because remember, we're not taking away from them because they've got to learn how to regulate themselves, but you could calm the energy in the environment, in the room, and just be that calm force.
That might be a little advanced for our listeners.
Yes, this is true. I'm sure that they all know. You all have toddlers that at some point were having a temper tantrum, and you had to remain calm in order for them to be calm. Or when a little kid falls,
Wait, hold on. Very high volume right now.
if you notice when a little kid falls, if you don't run to them and go, oh my God, are you okay? But you just kind of go, you take
Dogs are the same way.
yes, you tell me that a lot, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Fun
and
fact, if you have a dog, you have to give medicine to or that they hurt themselves, speak in a calm tone. Don't get all hypey because it will hype them up too. Go on.
yeah, same thing with a kid. So if you get all hyped up, the kid's going to react and they're going to start crying, and they didn't even realize that they got hurt. Maybe they
Yeah.
barely scratched their knee. But when they see the mom going or the dad or whoever going, oh my God, my baby, they're going to freak out too.
Dads might be onto something when they say to their wives, honey, let him get up. He's fine. Might be onto something. Men may have gotten that one right.
Shake
I
it
gotta
off.
say. I gotta
Shake
give
it
some
off.
credit.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you say is your well actually why don't we do moment of presence real quick and then we'll do like a
I think that would be a great
parting
idea.
idea message and then head out.
Yeah. So we're going to take 3 deep breaths and just, feel your energy today. Kind of as you take in your deep breath, just bring the energy up, kind of feel where are you? Are you in a good space? Do you have some uncomfortableness about you? And then we're going to exhale and let it out. And then I'll talk you through the rest of it. We'll do it three breaths. So one big deep breath in and just let that energy swirl. Where are you today? Are you in a high space, middle, low? It's all okay. And let it out. Deep breath or deep exhale. And then deep breath in. And then just imagine light coming in above your head, whatever color you're feeling right now. Just kind of let it surround you and swirl around you. And then exhale. And then if that color was red or angry or upset or frustrated, let's just breathe in something calm. So imagine ocean, imagine whatever's calming for you. Sky, clouds, just big deep breath in. Just visualize the calmness and just let that swirl around. And then exhale. How's everybody feel? Y'all feel good?
2 thumbs up.
Put
All
in the
right.
chat how you're feeling.
Final message on this topic for you.
This is this can be very simple and it can be very complex. You can overthink it or you can just make it easy. If you feel good, let other people feel your good energy. If you don't feel good,
Keep it to
keep it
yourself.
keep it not necessarily keep it to yourself, like don't talk about it,
Right.
but you don't have to bring other people down. You can talk about it and say, I need to let this out. Can you just listen and be honest and vulnerable with people? I just need to talk this out. I just need to brainstorm. Uh, and if you are that person for someone else, don't feel like you need to take it in from them. Just be there for them with your lightness and your energy and let that be contagious to them. And they'll take in what they can take in.
Mm-hmm.
What's your final thoughts?
My final thought is from now until next week's episode, when you tune back in because you love our show so much, I just want you to notice. I just want you to be aware
Yeah.
of where you're doing this and when this happens. Just start with awareness. You don't have to solve everything. You don't have to even work on your own energy right now. Just be aware. That is, you can't adjust, you can't fix, you can't make a different decision until you know where you are.
And so my final thought, to all of us out there that think we can fix other people's situations, you cannot.
Mm-hmm.
They have to do it for themselves. You can help them if you're asked, but you cannot force them. You cannot convince them. You cannot do it for them because then it's not real. And again, people feel fake energy. This is not
Yeah.
something you can fake it till you make it. You have to you have to be aware and observe. That's the first place to start is radical responsibility for your energy first. That's
Mm-hmm.
the only way you're going to learn how to manage and deal with other people's energy
Yeah.
is to understand yourself first. That's what made all of the change for me. So
Yeah.
much change for me. I have been able to just, that's theirs. Like, that's their circus, their monkey. I can just help if they ask me. So,
Where can they find you, Michelle?
I can be found anywhere on social media under Moksha Grace. You can go to my website at mokshagrace.com. You can book a call with me. We can have a conversation, see just what's going on with you. Do you need coaching? Do you just need to have a conversation? If you want group coaching, I offer that too, where we do group coaching calls once a week. We have a call tonight. It's the Odonata community. So you can join me there. You can follow us here on any of the social media sites. And please share this out with people that you feel really need to hear this or learn more about this. This is just the very, very basics. So, like Krista said, this week, do nothing but observe. Where do you feel good? Who are the people that make you feel good? Who are the people that don't make you feel good or that you feel tired afterwards? Just notice. That's it. That's all you got to do. That's it. Krista, where can they find you?
You guys can find me at wickedwisdomconsulting.com, on social media under the same name, Op Consulting, again, helping people run their business. And also join the Moksha Grace email list at mokshagrace.com/email. We send reminders for these episodes, newsletters, freebies, etc. So check it out at mokshagrace.com/email.
Yes. And we appreciate all of you that follow us and that are here. Definitely like, subscribe everywhere and anywhere. And again, send out to people that you feel could use the same kind of conversations because we have a whole bunch coming up. And remember that every day you do have a choice. You can wake up and decide you are going to have a really, really good day, or you can wake up and say it's going to be a crappy day. It all depends on you. You get to decide that. So choose wisely.
See you next week.
Bye.